Hey guys, what's going on? It's Karl here, and this is the best Android smartphone of 2014, the HTC One M8. Enough said. When you think about it, smartphone manufacturers release a brand new flagship every single year. For the last 2 to 3 years, we've seen just incremental changes in every single flagship. When you take a look at the GS3 to the GS4, it might have seemed like the GS3S. And the GS4 to the GS5, does that make it a GS4S or a GS3SS? Mind blown. So with every single phone that comes out, if there are only incremental changes, the performance isn't changing as much as we'd like it to. Nothing is going to be the same as the first iPhone that came out that was truly revolutionary. When you compare phones, say like the Galaxy S4 to the HTC One M7, or even the HTC One M8 to the brand new Galaxy S5, their performance is extremely similar. And I'm not too interested in opening an app 0.03 milliseconds faster or getting 50 extra points on a benchmark. Those things don't really matter to me. Doing daily consumer things like going through Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, checking my emails, playing games and switching through apps, that's important. And if all the smartphones over the past, say, 2 years have been performing pretty adequately at all these tasks, it really comes down to different design cues that make the difference on becoming the best smartphone. So if performance is extremely similar across all these devices, there are other factors that you need to consider for something being the best Android smartphone of 2014. For me, that's personally A, build quality, which the HTC One hits out of the park, and 2, battery life. Your smartphone is probably the most used tech gadget in your arsenal, so if you're dropping $700 to $800 on a new flagship or you're signing up for a 2 to 3 year contract, you want this device to look and feel as premium as it can in your hands. There are no other companies that build their phones like HTC. We're talking strictly Android. If you compare this to its main competitor, the Samsung Galaxy S5, one is made out of a unibody aluminum design, whereas the other is made of plastic. And I don't want to come across as an HTC fanboy, but those are the facts. When you look at the HTC One M8, it draws its design cues from the original HTC One M7, which was already praised for having outstanding build quality. It's improved on this by getting rid of the polycarbonate edges and is now made of 90% aluminum. It still has the 2 front-facing boom sound speakers, and these are the best speakers on any smartphone to date, followed closely by the original HTC One M7. Next off, battery life. There's no point having a smartphone with the best specs, the best screen, and the best performance if the battery just doesn't last throughout the entire day. This was one of the problems with the original HTC One M7. Around 7 or 8 o'clock at night, my battery would be dying and I'd be left stranded without a phone. The HTC One M8 has a 40% increase in battery performance compared to its predecessor, and HTC Sense 6 is a lot more efficient. This is made all possible in a 2600 milliamp battery cell. I've used the HTC One M8 heavily, and I mean heavily. I've played games and even more games, and this thing still performs without hiccup. I have no need to worry of this thing dying on me in a day's use. It enters a extreme power savings mode at 5, 10, or 20% depending on your preference, and HTC claims you can get up to 15 hours on a 5% charge. A review wouldn't be complete without some tech specs. It has the latest Snapdragon 801 chip, a quad-core 2.3 GHz processor, as well as Adreno 330 GPU. And this is the same hardware found in the Galaxy S5, which makes build quality and design so much more important in that deciding factor. Before the M8 was released, there was a lot of buzz regarding the dual camera setup on the back. This is the first smartphone to feature any sort of dual camera system. The first sensor is the same found in the original HTC One M7. This is a 4 ultrapixel sensor, and an ultrapixel essentially has larger pixels which allows in more light, which in turn increases low light performance. And the top sensor is just a depth sensor, so as the name implies, it senses depth in your photos. You can start to apply the bokeh effect, which is usually found in higher end DSLRs. But overall, I found this feature to be a bit gimmicky. Unless you had a clearly defined foreground and background object, it had problems discerning which one was which, especially due to the fact that this is applied post-production, and maybe this can be fixed in a future firmware update. But overall, the camera layout has been simplified. You have 6 different options: camera, selfie, video, dual capture, Zoe, and pan 360. In terms of photo quality, I found that they were a bit undersaturated, and you have to remember that these are only 4 megapixel shots, so they're fine for web use, but if you're looking to buy a smartphone for solely the camera, there's definitely better options out there. So if you're looking to purchase an Android device in 2014, look no further than the HTC One M8. You definitely won't be disappointed. Whether you're upgrading from a new device or you're switching from iOS, coming to the good side, and don't troll me down below in the comments, you can't go wrong using this HTC. What would make this phone perfect, and I know there's not a lot of perfect things in the world, upgrading this camera from a 4 ultra pixel to say an 8 or 12 ultra pixel. If you're lucky enough to fork out that cash and you live in the States, buy a Google Play edition so you can get stock Android. And in no way am I bashing HTC Sense 6. I prefer it definitely over TouchWiz. Just the customization and the pure nature of stock Android still appeals to me than any other skin. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. And if you guys like this content, be sure to hit that subscribe button. And if you also like this video and you're feeling super awesome, hit that like button down below as well. And of course, I will catch you guys in my next video. Peace.